The night was dark, very dark. The only light in the room came from the moon outside the window. It was a half moon, and it cast strange shadows on the walls. The shadows moved. They danced and twisted, making scary shapes. A young boy, Billy, lay in his bed. He was all alone. Billy was afraid of the dark. He always had been. But tonight the darkness felt different. It felt closer, heavier, like something was in the room with him, watching him. Under the bed, hidden in the darkness, were two creatures. They were small and hunched over, with long, sharp claws. Their eyes glowed red in the dark. One was called Raza. He was quick and jittery, always moving. The other was Wretch. He was larger and slower, but much stronger. Raza hissed. "The boy is awake!" His voice was like the whisper of the wind. "Good," Wretch grumbled. His voice was low and rumbling like stones grinding together. "He looks tasty." Slowly, silently, the creatures began to move. Raza crept along the floor, his claws scraping against the wood. Wretch followed, his heavy body shaking the bed slightly. Billy pulled the covers over his head. He squeezed his eyes shut, trying to pretend he didn't hear the scraping, the hissing, the shaking. But he could still hear them. They were getting closer. Section 4. Panic sets in. Raza reached the edge of the bed. He peered over the side, his glowing red eyes staring right at Billy. Billy held his breath, his heart pounding in his chest. Wretch lumbered closer. He reached out one of his claws and tugged at the blankets. Billy gasped and gripped the sheets tighter. He wanted to scream, but he was too scared to make a sound. Section 5. A glimmer of hope. The first rays of dawn pierced through the window. The shadows on the wall shrank back, disappearing with the darkness. The creatures under the bed hissed. They retreated to the darkest corner, their glowing eyes fading with the approaching light. Billy peeked out from under the covers. He was trembling, but the creatures were gone. The room was safe again. Section 6. Until next time. As the sun rose higher, Billy got out of bed. He tiptoed to the window and looked out. The world outside was bright and cheerful, but as he glanced back at the dark space under his bed, he couldn't shake the feeling that Raza and Wretch were still there, hiding, waiting, watching. He knew they would be back. When the moon rose again and the shadows grew long, Raza and Wretch would be waiting.